Hey everybody, welcome back to another Reality Skewed Gamers Reviews, where reviews the latest Star Wars shows. Today we're back again for Mandolorian Season 3, Episode 7. I'm your host, Ranger J 1999. The hunka burn love over there is Big K. Cashmere. Cashmere, how are you doing, my friend?
Outstanding.
Yes, indeed. And welcome to another review. And yeah, we didn't get a review last week, Cashmere. Episode 6, real quick. Cool. It had some cool stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, the cameos were okay, but there was
Yeah.
some cool stuff at the end. I mean, it is what it is, right? So, Kashmir has some real life stuff. It happens. No worries. It's yeah. We'll just won't have an episode 6 review. So, not too much talking about that. There was some fun stuff. I thought Grogu was a little cheeky, and I loved it. But that being said, let's get into episode 7, man. And what an episode!
Yes.
Finally, what we've been waiting
This was
for,
it.
man. Everything's led up to this.
Hmm.
This is the culmination of everything that's happened this season. We know these last two episodes, 7 and 8, are going to be fire, and they're so far. I got to tell you, Cashmere, this episode 7 delivered. I'll tell you that much, man. Really love this episode a lot, dude.
Hmm. Yep, without a doubt. This was my favorite episode of the season so far.
Yeah, for a multitude of reasons for me as well. So we start off on Coruscant with old what's her butt, doing her
Wine
double agents.
King.
Yeah,
Yep.
doing her double agent stuff. Secret agent woman. Um,
With a probe droid just in the middle of the road,
hmm
middle of a dark alley. No one's going to see that, but whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, they droids can tell if there's anybody coming.
Yeah.
But guess who's back? Back again. Moff Gideon.
Yeah. That worked.
I know. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Yeah, he's back, and she's reporting and telling about, which we kind of figure the Empire um it was behind the pirate stuff, which made
Yeah.
sense. The attack that
Hmm.
came, and he's like, the New Republic was supposed to, and she's like, it wasn't the New Republic. He's like, all right, you go do your crap, and I'll deal with it. And then we get that next scene, that awesome scene. You see Gideon walking through his new base, and you see, which was kind of hinted at in last episode, where the pilot had found that Beskar,
Hmm.
and you see the new stormtroopers with the Beskar on that are just
Yes.
pulling guard. You knew me, I knew immediately what they were as soon as I saw them. Like, And then we have uh, the big scene with all the moths and stuff together, and Kashmir, they mentioned Thrawn
Yes.
multiple times.
About time.
Yeah.
They mentioned he's the big bet. He's the big baddie. Hasn't been seen yet,
He's the Thanos of the
but
Star
he's the
Wars
big
universe
bad.
now. Yeah.
And what I
Um,
loved about it is how they're doing to the New Republic what the rebels or the New Republic did to the Empire. They're they just want them to think that they're warlords.
yep.
They're not in it together.
They're
They're
not
not
organized.
coordinating anything. They're just rebel cells. But now we're talking about the warlord cells or whatever, the Empire cells,
Yeah,
the
and
remnants.
for good reason.
Yeah.
They're not ready yet. Pellin, who was in there, saying, Thrawn will be there soon, and then Gideon's like,
Yep.
where is he? You know, I got this. I'm ready to do some
Hmm.
things. Send me the resource. A lot of political stuff here, and I liked it,
Yeah.
the back and forth between the Moffs, and it was cool to see that the Moffs understand the situation that they're in. Yeah, they're all vying for power, and they are loyal. You can tell
Hmm.
Pelion is definitely loyal to Thrawn,
Yeah.
um, but they got to help each other out. It's not like the old Empire days where it's like,
Hmm.
the backstabbing ain't gonna work. Um, Although there's probably jostling and backstabbing going on, but for this
Yeah.
circumstance, Gideon plays it right, and he gets his requests. I need the Praetorian Guard. We'll get to them later, man. Oh
Hmm.
God, and the extra ships that
Yeah.
we kind of had a suspicion of something when we saw all those Imperial ships in episode 2. Now we know this is coming from the Empire
Yeah.
is way more organized and getting back
Hmm.
together than we thought, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is after the Battle of Jakku, and I love what they're doing. This has got a lot of air of the Empire themes in it. When I read the books back in
Yeah.
the day, with the disorganization of the empire and what happens. It's a lot of cool stuff, and I really dug it. I mean, this scene. I mean, how did you feel about this scene? I liked this scene a lot. It gave a lot of good
Yeah,
information. Teased us with Thrawn. What were your thoughts, Kay?
I liked it, and I liked how they try to call Gideon out, like, "Oh, you're just doing you want things for your cloning,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "What?
What are you
Not
talking
me.
about? What?
That's not
No.
my job. I'm not
And then
doing
he says the
cloning."
name of the
And they're
project.
all
He's
like,
like,
"We're all doing what we're supposed to be doing," and they're all like, "Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Just what we're supposed to be doing, nothing extra." And then we never talk about in any of these type of shows, and just from knowing each other for however many years, we know we both are not fans of the sequels.
some of the parts of the sequels I
Yeah,
liked.
yeah. I mean, they're not
There's parts.
terrible. They're not horrible, but they're not
They're
our
not at the
favorite.
level of. I mean, everybody's gonna have an opinion about the
Yes.
sequel trilogy or the prequel trilogy. I mean, the
Yeah.
original three are the original three. You know, 4,
Exactly.
5, and 6 will always have a special place, but
Hmm.
everybody ranks them differently. You know, like
Yeah.
for the longest time until Rogue One came out, Empire was my number one favorite. There was no. I think that movie's a masterpiece. It still is. It's just that Rogue One just overtook it just a little bit. I mean, they're right there, but
Yeah.
everyone's going to be subjective about that.
Yeah.
Again, the sequels. You know, we're not here to talk about them. They
Yeah.
are what
No,
they
but
are.
what I was
But go
gonna say
ahead.
is I like how and I know basically Hux is it's Daddy Hux,
Yeah.
Papa Hux. And I know that's part of, I believe, Heir to the Empire and some of
Well,
that.
this gets in. Yeah, he's
Uh,
one of the guys that helps create the First Order. I think
yeah,
Hux is a paw.
and yeah, and he's there. He's one of the main guys. He's the guy that has the Praetorian Guards. That's I'll get you the Praetorian Guards. Like
We'll get to those
I'll
guys here at the end
yeah.
of where we get to our recap here in
So
the review.
it started sprinkling in some sequel stuff,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like in your face.
No.
You could just kind of tell that, all right, this is going to be leading into at some point.
Yeah, and you're
You
starting to see the
know.
shared universe because if you haven't seen the Ahsoka trailer, we know what that's leading to.
Mhm.
And with the mention of Thrawn and everything that was in that,
Yeah.
and we actually saw Thrawn, so we know that this is, this is what this is leading to is
Mhm.
the big confrontation. That Thrawn's going to be the big confrontation
Yeah.
for this timeline of Star Wars for these years because the First Order is just it's not even a glimmer of anything right now.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so that was a really good scene. A lot of good back and forth. I really liked it. A lot of
Mhm.
good information put out there. You kind of see the inner workings of what the Empire is right now, being secretive. As you said, I like the analogy of how the rebels were. Then we get to Mandalore. We get to, well, no, we get back to
We
the
get to
one
Navarro,
Navarro, and
where
you.
the big ship is coming in over town, and everybody's looking up like,
I love the
"What?"
symbol on the bottom of that
Yes,
Lance cruiser,
and they're all
man. I
like,
was like, oh,
That's an Imperial ship." He's like, "No, it's not.
no, it's
Just look
not. See
up."
that symbol? That ain't
Yeah.
Imperials, man. Those are Mandalorian mercenaries, and so yeah, this brings the Mandalorians together for the first time. You can see the tension between, the Mandalorians that are with Bo, the Nine
Mhm.
Owls and all the
The
rest of
Night
it.
Owls
And
and
the rest of the different Mandalorian factions there, and then you see the Children of the Watch, and there is history there. There is animosity there. Um, they
Mhm.
come together. The armor sets it up. They're gonna have a feast. They get together. Then Grief comes in. He's being the politician. He's got the Mandalorians now as a place where they can operate out of now in
Yep.
Navarro. Um, brings some, whatever liquor he brings, but then we get the scene with a
IG
IG
11
11, right?
and
And Grogu.
where
Go
one of
ahead, yeah, go
the
ahead and tell. This is a funny.
yeah,
How did you feel about this? I thought this was brilliant. I mean, how do you feel about IG 11? Because it's not bringing back IG 11 because I
yeah,
think if
it's
you
not bringing
did,
back IG 11,
and I love
which
that
I
it's
was
it's really cool that they made him a vehicle for Grogu.
yeah,
And it was so great because if you're a parent and if you've ever had children, or anything like that, once he
mhm,
gets that new toy, you know how kids are.
yeah. So I like, so they rebuilt IG 11, but it's now without the brain or without
Right.
the memory circuit, but everything else is the same. Puts Grogu in there as like it's as being able to control it.
Yeah.
And Mando's like, nah, he's too young for that. He's there like, nope, nope. I'm like, well, let's let him take it for a ride. He starts walking in, and he's like, yes, yeah, like just like a little kid, just yes, 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 keeps on hitting it. And you know,
Yeah.
the little
They
kid
went to
wins.
the
The little kid gets
market.
the toy.
Yeah.
He's at the toy store, and he's walking home. He gets the toy, even though Daddy said no.
Yeah.
And then and even as they're walking, he's just there, just he keeps like yes, 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 like he just
Scoops up
being a
that food,
parent, you
starts
just go
eating
like,
it,
oh my
and
god,
Mando's like, damn it, Grogu. Like kids,
yeah,
kids in the stores, the parents like, no, you can't eat. I don't do
you
that.
can't have that. And
And
then
then
Daddy
scoops,
pays him anyway
yeah, yeah.
because he
It's such a
stole
great
the food.
scene. I love it. I love that they took
Yeah,
the
I
skeleton of,
like it. I mean, I
and I
like
think
it. I
it's,
like the
yeah, because what's
you
Grogu going to do?
know,
Is he going to keep hopping around or being his little thing? I mean, yeah, that's cool, but I liked it for his where he's at, that
mhm,
he's got a way to be a part of the battle and be a part of the group, without having,
yeah,
because he does have some limitations. I mean, yeah, he can force leap and do all that stuff, but I mean, yeah, I like it. I thought it was a real cool homage to IG-11, and now it's
mhm,
Grogu. How he feels
yeah.
about IG-11. Um,
It's now IG-12
I guess, yeah,
as Grief Karga
yeah,
says.
yeah. So we have that scene, and then we have I thought a really great moment. We have the feast. Feasting at night. Everybody's in their
Mhm.
separate corners, and then Bo-Katan, who's taken up the mantle of leader, comes forward and says, "I need we're going back to take Mandalore. Blah blah blah. This is a situation. I need volunteers for kind of a recon
Yeah,
force to go find the forge and some other things." And no one's saying anything. And then finally, of course, Mando steps up and says, "I'll go." And then what's her name says, "I'll go." And then
the
that.
armorer's like, I'll go, and then oh no, no, I forgot her name. The one she was in. She was in the original season with
Yeah, well, yeah, what's her name? I mean, I've actually got the figure behind me. I don't remember. The
yeah.
name's escaping me. But yeah, she steps up, and then Vizsla steps up, and so they get, and the armor volunteers too. And I
Yeah.
thought that was really dope. And then we're on our way to Mandalore, just like that,
Mhm.
And then another great scene is as they're going into Mandalore through the atmosphere that's been ionized and stuff. Um, they get through, and then you see the different reaction. I love the shot of them getting ready to drop in. Um, Great visuals in this episode, by the way.
Yeah.
God, the visuals were stunning. Um, and you see that like Ajax and those, or not Ajax, whatever the guy's name is, um, those that were from Mandalore had a
Hmm.
reaction like they were there. They went through
Yeah.
this. They saw what happened. And then you've got the Children of the Watch seeing this devastated place that they've only ever thought about, right? So
Hmm.
they both start looking horror what's become of their home planet, but for different reasons, right? I thought it was a great scene, and they actually talked
Yeah.
about it. It's like, you know, and the guy's like, I was there,
I was there. Like yeah. Paz is like, wow, like, this is worse than I thought. And the guy's like, yeah, I was here. I was here
yeah,
when this was happening.
you know.
This was pretty bad.
And then you have pretty much them. They get down there. They run into some survivors, um, that are from the scattered remnants of those that remained on Mandalore.
Hmm.
And then they hook up with them, and then they bring them food and medicine. There, a lot of them are hurt and injured, and
Hmm.
Armor says she's going to take him back. But there was another great scene. You can they're having dinner. Bo-Katan tells the history of what happened. He talks about the Night of 1,000 Tears, and then how they got wiped out. That after they lost the fight, she was offered uh chance to end the fighting if she gave up the dark saber to Gideon,
Yep.
which she did reluctantly. But then Gideon went back on his word and still
Still
dis-
bombarded it.
still destroyed the planet and stuff. And I thought that was a great moment, and you can still see some of that doubt, that lingering doubt in Bo. And then here comes old Mando with that great quote: "Is like, my people don't care about the dark saber, you know, we care about honor and leadership and loyalty, and list the things." It says, "And I will
Hmm.
follow you. My rifle, my pistol is yours, lady." And he says, "Lady Bo-Katan Kryze,
Yeah.
until your story is not written, and I will be with you until your story is written." And I thought that was a great moment
Hmm.
for those two. I mean, that one I was like, God damn.
They need to get them two to hook up. I mean, I don't know how it would work,
I don't
but
know if they're going to hook up. I think
I don't think that like that's this is not that type of story, and
no, I don't get
you
that
know
from them, but I think it's more of
a
a
respect.
respect for each other because they've
Yeah,
been through some things and they've gone on this journey, and who knows, you never know. But
yeah,
yeah, I
exactly.
don't, it's no romantic things,
No,
but and then they get to the forge and then the big fight happens. I'll let you take this one, man, because this was incredible.
yeah. So well they get attacked by this. Of course, there's always another monster. At first I thought it was going to be the Mythosaur, and I thought this was going to be, oh, all right,
I did
she's
too.
about to tame this.
And I got up, I was looking at it like, are we having another monster fight, man? Haven't we had enough this
Yeah,
season?
like
But they
I mean, come
didn't. It
on,
was just,
really?
it showed, it took out the ship, and then it's
Yeah,
like, okay, cool.
yeah.
It
And then
just,
they're like, all right, let's get on the ground. They originally they start exploring, and they think, oh wait, more Mandos. Then they start getting fired upon, and they realize, oh damn,
yeah,
these
they get
aren't
to the
Mandos. These
forge.
are
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, these
And
are
the fight was
stormtroopers or the
fantastic.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a pretty nasty fight. I mean they do axe wolves. They realize they
Axe
need to get
Wolves.
out of there, and
They got to let the fleet know
we
they need help. Yeah.
yeah we didn't talk about a scene, and it's really not necessary. Axe and Paz, they get into their own little fight, playing
Oh,
checkers,
we did
chess,
miss that.
whatever.
Yeah. And Grogu breaks
Yeah,
it up.
that's not even really the point. Just they have their rivalry already,
Yeah.
but
That
but they see
animosity.
there's a way of him being able to get out,
Yeah.
and Paz like, I'll give you cover.
Yeah.
So they kind of set their differences aside, and they are now they're a unit, and they work together, and they get him out so that he can get some reinforcements.
Yes.
How he's going to get reinforcements, that's a whole other story on how he would do that. But anyway, the Mandalorians, they go after the new stormtroopers where they have the Beskar, so it's not just easy. These aren't the stormtroopers.
No.
These aren't your daddy's stormtroopers where they just keep on missing, and you look at them and they fall over. These are Beskar stormtroopers, but they follow them, and it ends up being a big
Great
trap.
action sequence too. You see the
Yes.
difference between the stormtroopers and the Mandalorians. That yeah, the stormtroopers are they're elite and they've got their Beskar armor, but they don't
Mhm.
move like the Mandalorians do. I mean, the
No,
Mandalorians were
no.
doing some crazy moves, and to see Bo-Katan and Mando leading the charge in, just back and forth, 1-2, going through
Yeah.
just these guys like they knew where to attack them, how to attack them, but it was a setup.
It was a setup. So Mando actually ends up being in the front, and even before this is like he's telling Grogu, you got to keep up.
Yeah,
But I mean, he can't keep up as fast as them. But so he gets out in front, and then he ends up getting being they end up trapping like all the Mandalorians except for Din because he's up front.
yeah, and they capture him.
Yeah, they capture him,
And then who
and then
shows up?
outwalks this big dark trooper,
Black armored Mando,
black
Beskar
armor,
Mando. Yep,
takes off his helmet.
good old Moff Gideon.
Gideon's got his new he's got his new armor. He's now basically made himself a dark trooper,
Yep.
the dark trooper armor, and he thanks him for setting the trap.
Yeah, so thanks for bringing
Getting him
your
in.
Mandalorians here, and then he has that confrontation with Bo, and then says kill them. Bo cuts a hole in the back so they can get out. And Pre Vizsla, man, what a boss,
He,
dude.
yeah, he's there. He's like, listen, I'll give you guys cover, and they're
This is
all running out. He's just shooting away, and then eventually she's like, all right, we're all out. Let's go. And he's like, there's too many of them.
I gotta hold the
There's just too
line.
many
This
of
is the
them, and
way. Yeah,
yeah, this is the way. He just stays there, and he kills them all. He gets them all to the point where his
his
gun is actually overheated, and you
which
just
I love that it's so realistic because a weapon when you fire it that long, especially like a automatic weapon like that, the barrel and the weapon itself will overheat. Okay. And I love that they made that a realistic thing in Star Wars that if you fire, no matter what weapon it is, especially a heavy assault machine gun kind of, even though it's a laser blaster, same principles apply. You got to change
yeah,
out the barrel. That's why in the army, when you have you're firing like an M240 Golf or something, got to be able. You have your assistant gunner that's got an extra barrel because you change out barrels. This goes all the way back to,
Hmm.
that's a basic principle of those kind of weapons, and I love that it overheated and that he couldn't use
Yeah,
it. Then he had to get in a hand to hand, but
and then
took him out.
he just kicked ass,
And I'm sitting
hand
there
to hand
going,
throwing
okay, he
things,
got through this,
kicking
and
them.
then oh my,
Yeah, and then all of a
now we're
sudden
bringing the Praetorian Guard.
bringing yeah, bringing the Praetorian guards, and he was just no match for them. They
No,
just
they
was
executed him.
not even a battle.
No, and
Yeah,
that was the link you were talking about. They came out, three of them, and I mean, he went out
yeah,
like a boss, but I mean, he was already injured and wounded. I mean, he just took
hmm
on that entire like a company of those
yeah,
or couple squads of those troopers, and yeah, he had no chance. They executed him straight up. I mean, all three of them, stabbed him,
hmm
and they just left him there. Like, we did our job. They were there for one purpose and one purpose only, and they came in there and did it. And I was like, geez, that's ruthless. But it needed to be ruthless because it needed
hmm
to show the Praetorian Guard, the elite guard for whoever, you want to say their lead, whether it's the Emperor or anybody, they're
yeah,
trained to be that badass.
hmm
So yeah, man, that was great to see. And then that's where we leave off the episode, man. And it
yeah,
means episode 8 is going to be fire, dude. I don't know what they're going to do, but Mando's
yeah,
captured. They're on the run. They already sent, and in that scene, he sends up all the ships to go take out their fleet. So we know that's going to
yeah,
happen. So there's a big finale coming next week, and I cannot be more
hmm
enthused for it. I mean, what are you expecting before we get into how we feel about this episode, which we'll give our rating for? What do you kind of anything you're hoping to see or expecting to see in the season finale next week?
Well, I'm curious because this episode was called Spies. I purposely was, and it's obviously the Isla Kane. That's the obvious. That was one of them. But like, you know, there's obviously another spy.
Yeah, and I was
Who
like,
is it?
who is it?
Who is it? What were they? What are they spying? Is it Is it Axe Wolves? Is it he got away? Where is like my mind? Like, where was he going to go to? Like they had no the armor already left with a ship.
Speaking of the
You
armor, someone
know,
says they said asked me today, do you think the armor is the other spy?
yeah. Is it the armor? But like, and I thought that
It's
too. I'm like, is this like was
possible.
she setting up so that she can loot, Bo and all that could be, and she can just start her own fresh thing.
Right.
Um, I don't know about that. Who's this other spy?
If
That's
we're reading the actual plural of what they mean by
yeah,
spies, because it means more than one. We know of one, but who's the other
mhm,
spy, or
yeah.
spies that we're talking about?
So
Yeah.
that I wanna find that out. Um, I mean I like I know things have to end on a cliffhanger and like make me go maybe make me want to watch this next season, but I would like to see them working getting Din out and somehow just Gideon failing and like I think the last scene, let's put it this way, the last scene should be Gideon failed and Thrawn just coming on screen and being like,
Now it's
not you
my now
failed
it's
me for the last time or anything like
yeah.
that, but just like,
Now it's my turn.
kind of, yeah, this is why I am
Well, that's why he's
going to be
Thrawn.
leading this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that to me. That's the ultimate ending. Is
Oh, I
that
think one ending that I was thinking about
you know
today was that it's a stalemate. The Gideon gets defeated, but the Mandalorians realize that heavy losses. They can't take back Mandalore yet, and that Navarre will be the staging ground until they
yeah,
can get even more of the clans united, because they realize now that the Empire is back, and I think this is going to introduce the Empire is back
yeah,
through this. I think the New Republic is going to, I think that pilot is going to get involved somehow. The what's his name that's been, doing all his
yeah.
stuff
I
because
know,
we
I know
saw
you're
that
talking
one
about.
episode he saw Beskar Manda armor, but he's like, Mandalorians? He's confused about it,
Yeah,
right? So I think somehow they'll be involved. They'll probably save the day. But I think it's going to be a stalemate. Like both sides go to their corners,
yeah.
without them reclaim. It could. Just what I think is going to happen because I think season 4 is going to get
hmm
into more of this universe and stuff about, what's going to happen moving forward. This will lead us to some of the stuff with the Ahsoka. Someone mentioned, do you think Boba Fett will come in and make an appearance? I'm like, I don't know. They could. I don't know what he's going to do. I
Yeah.
mean,
At this point, I would the really I anything is on the table, I think.
yeah,
Like for next week. It could be anything, I kind of like part of me wants to see Grogu just come in and kick some ass too, wearing his new IG thing. Kind of thing. It was like, like one thing we didn't talk about when they were trapped and Din was up front, like you can see Grogu's face, like he was just, he's upset. Like I at one point I wasn't going to be surprised if he did like force choked
Gideon.
Gideon. I'm like, I know it's too soon for that to happen, but wasn't going to be surprised. I really won't be surprised with anything that happens next week.
Yeah.
They did officially announce at Star Wars Celebration that there's going to be a movie. Dave Filoni's going to direct it. That's going to be the culmination of
All these shows.
this,
Yeah.
Ahsoka, and a couple of the other ones. I can't think of them offhand. That's going to be kind of the culmination. Is going to be a movie, and that it's not the first movie. The first movie is a Rey movie, but we won't go there. So we know they kind of not drag it out is the wrong way of saying it, but
No,
they gotta
continuation of the
space
story.
this out at least
Yeah.
another 4 years.
Hey
So,
man, bring it on, man. The more Star Wars
which
content
I'm
like
okay
this,
with.
I'm getting with shit. I'm happy, man. Bring it on, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy for it, man. Are you kidding me? I am.
Yeah.
I mean, episode 6 is kind of there, but outside of that, I've loved the Mandalorian
Yeah.
season so far. I mean, episode 6, it did what it needed to do. It had it was
Mhm.
filler, but it's okay. I mean, it didn't blow me away, and there's parts I'm like, oh. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it did what it's supposed to do because it led to this episode, and I'm very happy with it. So let's rate this episode. Out of 5
Yeah.
dark sabers, what are you gonna give this one, Big K?
I'm giving this 4.5. I
Yeah,
loved it.
I'm at 4.25. Simply because it's not the season finale. I want to see how it all ties in
Yeah.
before maybe I'd go back and change it, but I'm right there with 4.25. A little bit lower than you, but I mean, anything 4 and above is outstanding.
Yeah.
5 is perfect. But yeah, we just differ a little bit on how much we loved it. Not that we didn't love it, just how much, So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. Very much appreciated. This will be uploaded the same day, so it'll be tonight. Remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. It's always appreciated. Leave comments. We like your feedback. What did you think of the episode? Did you like it? Did you not like it? We always appreciate your comments on it. And let us know what you think in the comments is going to happen for the season finale. Oh, but it's looking tasty. So with that, I'm Ranger J. That's Cashmere. We're signing off, and we'll see you next week for the season finale of Mando. Till then, may the force be with you.